This orphan boy has the ability to transform into person he has ever touched. During a party organized by the orphanage to connect the orphans and adopters, Simon quickly becomes close to the brothers Thomas and Madeline. So Thomas begs his father to make an appointment with the orphanage. The next day Simon is allowed to go to Thomas's house to play. The three children promise to be good brothers for life by taking blood. Then each person tells a secret. Thomas's secret is that he accidentally saw his mother naked. Madeline has heart disease. She overheard her parents saying she can only live to 20 years old. Simon's secret is that he can transform into anyone, aware of the opponent's physical condition. During the transformation, due to the cell change, all the wounds on Simon's body could automatically heal. One night, Madeline has difficulty breathing in the midnight, that she could not sleep. Simon transforms into Madeline to feel and share the pain that Madeline has to endure. That action touches Madeline very much. For the first time, someone understands her suffering. The next day, Thomas invites Simon to the woods near the house to play. Thomas gives a small knife to Simon. If my father does not adopt you after you return to the orphanage, dig a tunnel with this knife, then run away and find me. I always consider you as my brother. The two children have fun together. Suddenly, Thomas falls into a cliff. Simon rushes over. Seeing a very deep cliff, he's very scared. Thomas is probably dead. If everyone knows, they will think Simon is a bad omen. There will be no family to adopt him. After thinking carefully, although he feels sorry for Thomas, Simon decides to transform into Thomas. Simon comes back to Thomas's house and tells everyone that Simon was playing in the woods when he suddenly fell off a cliff. Because Simon is an orphan, although the body can't be found, the police also conclude that Simon is dead, and the investigation is closed. Simon really also begins to live Thomas's life, feeling family love. The bottom line is that Simon really likes Madeline, but now the two of them are brothers. Madeline actually doubts Simon has turned into her brother, until she sees the wound on her hand, that she believes this is Thomas. As the years passes, Simon is now a carpenter, preparing to inherit the Thomas family's store. The girls in town are all very like him, but Simon loves only Madeline. She grows up very beautifully. Simon must hide his feelings. Every day he talks and takes care of Madeline with photo like a brother. On Thomas's birthday, the whole family parties and looks at his photos. There is also a photo of Simon when Simon comes to their family. This makes Simon, who is about to forget who he is, curious about his current appearance. So Simon transforms back into himself. With a handsome appearance, Simon goes to eat potato chips. He loves this dish, but Thomas is the opposite, so he has not eaten for many years. At that moment Madeline passes by and feels very strange. She sneaks a picture and comes home and asks Simon, "Do you feel this guy looks a lot like Simon? Maybe he's not dead yet." The next day Simon goes to buy a new clothes, deliberately goes to the restaurant where Madeline is. Madeline comes to talk to him. He guesses that Madeline has had feelings for Simon since he was a child, so she recognizes him as soon as she looks him. Simon pretends that his name is Simons. They quickly become close. Their relationship grows day in and day out, and one day Simon takes the initiative to kiss Madeline. Who expected? Madeline's next meeting takes him home. Madeline uses the excuse that she doesn't live much longer. She feels Simon has a very familiar feeling, so she takes the initiative to give herself to him. But women are very sensitive. That night, when Simon has just left, Madeline immediately invites her brother Thomas into the woods to watch the stars. She tells about her love for Simon's. Seeing her brother's love-filled gaze, she's shocked to think how long ago the brother Thomas has been with her as Simon. Madeline secretly watches Simon, seeing with her own eyes that Simon transforms into Thomas. Then he returns home and pretends that he doesn't know anything. Madeline angrily questions Simon and threatens to denounce his secrets. Simon has to tell the truth. Madeline is very upset. Her brother Thomas is long dead. Madeline could not accept Simon replacing her poor brother. She calls the police to look for her brother's body. Then she exposes Simon to the whole family. Simon is forced to transform so that the wound from Madeline's shot heals itself. As it turns out, the skeleton under the cliff isn't Simon's, but Thomas's. After learning the truth, Thomas's father is very indignant. He thinks that Simon purposely killed Thomas to get his life. Simon doesn't have a chance to explain. He transforms into Thomas, who is in better shape, and runs away. Thomas's parents and the police immediately chase him. Simon turns into a passerby and hides into the crowd. But no matter who he turns into, Madeline can recognize him. She relies on her true love to find Simon. She kisses Simon to let him show his true form. Madeline thinks carefully. She decides to run away with Simon. The police know that Madeline is going to find Simon, so they watch them. But the both of them can't run far, because Madeline has a heart attack. Simon immediately turns into Madeline's father and takes her to the hospital. The doctor says that Madeline has reached the terminal stage of heart disease, incurable. At this time, the police also chase to the hospital. Simon knows he can't escape. He's by Madeline's side. Simon then steals a brain-killing potion and writes a letter saying, "Please bring my healed heart to replace Madeline's. She only needs a healthy heart to live." When the police find Simon out, he's dead. In the end, Simon uses his life to save Madeline as a way of repaying her family. Simon's whole life of torment as a substitute has been ended by himself.